Have you ever felt like life was slipping away from you? Like you were caught in a web of routine, unable to break free? What if I told you that everything could change in an instant through the most unexpected of messengers? A single moment, a single encounter could reshape your entire future. What if that moment arrived in the form of a cat? A small creature with no voice, but a presence so powerful, it seemed to control the very fabric of your destiny. Could you trust a cat to lead you to the life you've always dreamed of? Could it show you a path you never knew existed, taking you to places you'd only ever dreamed of? Lily didn't know it yet, but her world was about to be flipped upside down by the most unlikely of companions. A stray cat named Max, who would lead her not just to new opportunities, but to a life abroad, a life full of possibility, purpose, and even love. Lily had always considered herself an ordinary person. She lived in the heart of a bustling city, San Francisco, where the streets were lined with coffee shops, towering buildings, and 1,000 stories waiting to be written. But for Lily, those stories were not her own. She was a freelance writer, but lately, it felt like the words just weren't coming. Her dreams, once vivid and clear, had faded into a dull fog of missed chances and forgotten promises. Her apartment, a tiny, sunlit space on the edge of the city, was a reflection of her own state of mind. The shelves were filled with half-finished manuscripts, stacks of books she'd promised to read, and old notebooks filled with ideas that never came to life. Lily had always hoped for something bigger, something more exciting, but somehow it never came. She had a good life, yes, but was it the life she was meant to live? Was there more waiting for her, just beyond her grasp? She didn't know, but Max did. It was on a rainy Thursday morning, the kind where the fog rolled in thick and heavy, that Max first appeared. Lily had been sitting by the window, watching the mist swirl outside, feeling the familiar weight of her doubts pressing in. She wasn't working, she wasn't creating, she was just existing. That's when she saw him. At first, she thought it was a trick of the mind, a flicker of movement in the corner of her eye. But when she turned to look, there he was. A sleek, golden and white cat, with piercing green eyes that seemed to see straight through her. Maximum. He wasn't just any stray. There was something about him, something unexplainable. He sat outside her window, staring up at her, not in fear, but with a quiet, knowing look, as though he understood exactly what she was feeling. Lily's heart skipped a beat. She didn't know why, but in that moment, she felt an intense connection to the cat. It was like he was calling to her, telling her something she wasn't ready to hear. She opened the window, and without hesitation, the cat jumped inside, landing softly on her wooden floors, as if he had been there all along. "Where did you come from?" she whispered, reaching out to him. Max didn't answer, of course. He never did. But what happened next was nothing short of magical. Over the next few weeks, Max became a constant in Lily's life. He wasn't just a pet. He was a presence. He had an uncanny way of knowing exactly when Lily needed him most. When she was stuck in a writing slump, he would jump onto her desk and nudge her hands, as if telling her to keep going. And when she felt lost, unsure of where her life was headed, Max would sit by her side, as though offering silent reassurance. But the most extraordinary part of their relationship came one evening, when Lily was deep in thought about a project she had been offered, a feature article about international opportunities for freelancers. She was supposed to interview successful freelancers who had moved abroad, but she had been putting it off. The thought of traveling, of stepping outside her comfort zone, terrified her. Max, as he always did, jumped onto her lap, purring softly. But this time, he was different. He pawed at her notebook, as if demanding her attention. Okay, Lily laughed, setting aside her doubts. "Let me finish this first." But as she tried to continue her research, a strange feeling washed over her. Something about the project seemed too small for her, too safe. She needed to experience it. She needed to be in the places she was writing about. That night, After Max had curled up at her feet, Lily found herself scrolling through websites of freelance conferences and work exchange programs abroad. One link led to a writer's retreat in the south of France, another to a workshop in Spain. And then there was an email from a publishing house in London, offering her a position writing articles about lifestyle abroad. A sense of realization hit her like a wave. This was it. This was the opportunity she had been waiting for. And somehow, Max had known before she did. It was as if he had led her to this moment, without words, without guidance, just by being there. Lily applied to every opportunity she found, her heart racing with anticipation. She didn't know how she would make it work, how she would afford the travel, or if anyone would even accept her. But Max had given her the push she needed, and she was ready to jump. Weeks later, she received her first acceptance letter, a contract for a travel writing position in Paris. The publishing house in London responded with an offer for a freelance contract, and the retreat in France invited her to be a guest speaker at their next session. Max had opened doors she didn't even know existed. As Lily packed her bags for Paris, her heart was filled with gratitude. She couldn't believe how quickly her life had turned around. In a matter of months, she was going from sitting alone in her apartment to flying across the globe to work on her dreams. Max was her constant companion, but now he was no longer just a cat. He was a symbol of the change that had come into her life, the change she had almost missed. The day she left for Paris, she looked down at Max, who had curled up on the windowsill, watching her with his wise, knowing eyes. "Thank you, Max," she whispered. "You saved me." And as she stepped onto the plane, heading toward a future filled with new adventures, she knew that it was only the beginning. Some people are lucky enough to find their purpose in life early on. Others, like Lily, are shown the way through the most unexpected of guides, sometimes in the form of a stray cat named Max. Max had changed Lily's life forever, showing her that the world was far bigger than the small corner she had been hiding in. And with his silent wisdom, he led her to the life she was always meant to live, the life she could have never imagined, but would never trade for anything. What stood out for you in this amazing story? Leave your comment in the comment section below and share this to your loved ones to give hope to someone in a gloomy world. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on notification bell for life-changing and inspiring content like this. Like and share this story if it has impacted your life in any little way. We are not just telling stories, we are changing lives.